You know what I can't stand? Haters. So I'm definitely not going to take these comments on the screen right now as hate comments. It's more of an opportunity for feedback. So nonetheless, when people are saying you're making up titles, what do you mean? What accreditation do you have? What institute are you part of? Let me explain. I'm going to have to get a little bit boring. However, I think my line of work, when you put accredited or chartered or any sort of qualification, the traceability of that is very, very important. So when I finished university a fair few years ago, I jumped on a graduate program in the fresh food and produce industry. So everything to do with food across the UK. So I started off at Aldi's head office, which is in Atherstone. So essentially I looked after a series, like a portfolio of products. I was working in their procurement department. You learn a crazy amount, especially because Aldi, they have something called a produce kitchen. So for example, a mushroom product, you know, when you're doing your sampling sessions. So from a corporate high level perspective, you really understand how to really work with contracts, negotiate with suppliers. I always say it's always about working cross-functionally and also improving those communication styles. Because for example, a lot of suppliers, they will speak a lot more formally, whereas if you're dealing with the farmers directly, they don't really care about professional conduct. They just want to get the job done for the cheapest price. So that was the first one at Aldi's head office. The second one was I moved to a place near Peterborough, a place called Spalding, which is half an hour out from there. And I worked on the farm and the fields. And essentially, if I was to break it down to the T, essentially I had to lead a portfolio of projects, more specifically, again, to do with potatoes, sweet corns, leeks. Again, I'll try and put some B-roll on the screen right now. It was a bit nitty gritty. Forget halal food, forget anything to do with convenience. There was no mobile signal on that farm in the field. So it's crazy. In the factory, which kind of, you know, one thing I've learned in this experience is that when you don't like certain jobs, you learn so much about yourself and how resilient and how much you have to dig deep and get through that job. So that was a bit of a challenging one, but alhamdulillah, we managed to get through it. My third placement actually was in a banana and pineapple factory in Coventry. You must have heard of the company. It's called Fifes. So when you go to the supermarket, you'll see Fifes, like a blue logo. I was a line supervisor in a fruit warehouse, and you know, you work with different nationalities. So you're in charge of leading production lines, you know, in charge of leading teams, making sure they're packing correctly. That was tough because that was one of the first times I led people and I had to manage people. Very interesting. All I'm going to say is big shout out to the Romanians and big shout out to the Polish. Very, very hardworking people. Oh, and the guys from Burma. Very, very high productivity. I was packing bananas and pineapples for, you know, Lidl, Aldi, Asda, Tesco, all the bigger kind of supermarkets right now. So you're absorbing information, you're learning how people work, you're learning how people deal with stress. Lastly, I finished off at Manchester for a crop protection. So I'm looking at fertilizers, pesticides, working with process improvement initiative. 4 different placements there, and whilst you're doing that, you're also working on your qualification, which is accredited by CMI. Again, I'll try and tag them below. They've got a fantastic institute right there. You are foundation qualified, and then the year later you eventually go ahead and you are fully chartered. So it's about 3-4 years course, I believe, from the top of my head. So I've been in social media for 8-9 years now. Essentially what I've done is that kind of professional experience, leading contracts, leading people, working very closely with fruit and veg, understanding the traceability of that also, and also the social media side. You're putting that together. So not only am I leading marketing campaigns, but I'm looking at things from a logistics perspective. I think in my community, the South Asian community, people really struggle to reach out and ask for help and have a bit of guidance. It's always that kind of older generation which have had that statement, which is, things have always been this way. How many times do you hear that, even in your workplace? So essentially, I'm going ahead and I'm developing new products. So for example, the guys recently over Christmas, I developed a halal Yorkshire burrito kind of style with pulled lamb, and it was really, really nice. You also look at common trends right now. So for example, jacket potato spuds are really, really going viral. So let's develop the UK's first ever Lebanese style jacket potato. So guys, I'm always looking out for that. Not only new product developments, you're also looking at things from a logistics perspective. Of course, there's a whole concept and ideology of marketing, which I know there's some fantastic marketing agencies out there. And again, like I said in that video, guys, the baseline of my work is that people eat with their eyes before their mouth. So hopefully that's answered a few questions. I really enjoyed the food industry. And also guys, when you work with me, you get access to a huge range, a massive portfolio of contacts. If you want packaging, if you want a list of content creators, you want to franchise your business, let me know. We can definitely work with that. You want me to pan out 12 monthly marketing campaigns, we can definitely do that. So there's a whole range of things I do. And you know, when we have that consultation and we speak on the phone, we can kind of narrow it down where you need that guidance. So guys, follow this journey, is going to be a really good one. And guys, you know what we say on the channel? We say that is a munch. Woo!